wish I had the power or a magic wand to take away all the suffering and pain. All I can do is have an open mind, 'cause control is an illusion. We're all living on God's time and life goes on. I'll keep walking over mountains, I'll keep walking through the valleys, 'cause life goes on. And now I see I don't have any answers. I've got to take it day by day. Life goes on. Oh.
Good evening and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake. I'm really delighted that you are here today joining us. It's an exciting time for sure. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Let us begin in consciousness as we begin all things. Please join with me. As I quiet my mind and open my heart, I accept and know that there is but one presence in the universe, one infinite creative intelligence, one divine energy that is fully present everywhere at all times. It is in knowing this and understanding this that I move forward this evening, knowing that tonight's service is a gift and a blessing, that whatever needs to be discovered is, whatever we need to open our hearts and minds to is fully revealed, and that something wonderful occurs as a result of the time we spend together. So I'm grateful, really, really grateful for each one gathered here today. Grateful for this time together, grateful for a journey of love and peace and joy. And I know that all is well in the world. So releasing these ideas, I let it be so. And so it is.
Good evening. I'm Schreiner-Trudel. I'm Reverend Barbara's husband, and I also live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We begin this evening by acknowledging that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaties signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands.
Thank you, Pierre. Really appreciate that. So important that we remember that we're all part of this one divine thing. Well, we have a few announcements. So let us begin with the class that is coming up, 5 Gifts for an Abundant Life. It's an 8-week class. The book can be ordered through Amazon, and all the orders placed through Amazon now, if you use our link, money comes back to the church. Go figure. 10% of every order will come back to us as a result. So if you have to purchase the book through Amazon, we'd love it if you used our link. The next class that's coming up is your Invisible Power 2, the workshop. This is part 2 of the workshop we did a week and a half ago. That was such a great success. So that will be on May the 7th at 2 p.m. The cost is $20. And we do include the PDF of the book. If you want the book itself, you can order that through our Amazon link. But, if you want to save a few cents, we'll definitely send you the PDF when you sign up. So we hope to see you there. The Count Me In program. Now, this can be done a couple of ways, actually. You can go onto our website, go onto the Give link, and choose to give a specific amount every month, and Tidely will automatically do that for you monthly. Or I can send you the form to have your account automatically debited on a monthly basis so that you can participate in our Count Me In campaign. Prayer requests. We've been going through challenging times, and I'll tell you, tonight I've spoken to 2 members of our congregation who've been ill and didn't phone me for prayer. I mean, come on, let us pray together. So I'm really excited to say that prayers are offered evenings and mornings each day, Monday to Friday, and also send us an email, revb@cslonthelake.com, and I will phone you or create a prayer treatment for you and send it to you, or do it with you online. So please, if you're struggling with anything, this is your family, this is your spiritual home, please do give me a call or send me a text message or an email. Just One You. This is my new talk show that runs every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Just One You. That's joy. The minute we start living sort of from our authentic self, then we begin to create in a greater sense of harmony and peace, and we create something beautiful in our world. So really, really great. It is on Facebook and YouTube live, our Facebook and YouTube channels, as well as the New Thought Media networks. And Safe Talk with Reverend Randy. Now, we are booking this for May the 13th from 6 to 9 p.m. It will be happening in Scarborough. I just need to confirm the location. But we will be doing that. It is by donation. And with that, you get a certificate. And you also get the book that explains everything and how to do this. And this is about helping people who might be struggling at the moment. And we know there has been a rise in suicides with, COVID and all that's going on. It's caused a lot of challenges for a lot of people. So we just want to be aware of what it is that we can do if we notice that someone we know is struggling. And that's what this program is about. It's a 3-hour workshop. And Reverend Randy Jacob is absolutely brilliant. She loves this work and does it extremely well. So I invite you, if you're interested, invite your neighbor, your friend, and it's for anyone 16 years old and older. So if you've got a teenager, bring them along. I'm sure they'll find something valuable in there as well. And next Monday, we will be joining the New Thought Media Network for our Monday night services. So they will be live streamed on YouTube and Facebook. And so you can join, just go to CSL on the Lake on YouTube and subscribe, and you can be watching us live there. Also, we're going to continue with Zoom. So what we're going to do with Zoom is that when the service ends on YouTube, you'll be able to link back into this particular Zoom link and be able to join with us for conversation, but also for Q&A. We like to discuss the evening's talk in a little more depth together afterwards. So any questions you have can be answered then. And that's it for the announcements. So I invite you to quiet your mind and just relax in this moment as we go into a time of meditation together. Please join with me. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I
am so grateful. I am so blessed.
It is in the quiet of my mind that I relax fully and completely and know that there is but one power in the universe. It is infinite, creative, and intelligent, and it's fully present right here, right now. I know that this one divine mind is the creator and the created. It is the all in the all. And as I relax into that awareness and understanding, I come to see that God is right here where I am. So I'm filled with love and peace and joy. And I know that this journey that I'm on is truly a gift and a blessing, that everything I think, say, and do has an impact. So today I choose to live consciously, to pay attention to what's going on around me, and most importantly, what's going on within me. It is deep in the center of my being that I am one with the one. And it is in that oneness that I discover my strength, my power, my passion, my purpose. And I live with a state of true grace and gratitude as I commune with the divine, as I do the dance with the universe, as I open my mind and heart and live from this place of exquisite realization of the divine presence of God as me, being me. And I know that this is true for all of us. So with a very grateful and humble heart, I release these ideas into the law of mind. I know it is done and all is well.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And so it is. Well, it is that time for our declaration of principles. So we believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind. We believe in the eternal goodness, the internal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God. And now, How Could Anyone by Schreiner-Trudel. How could anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? That's such an important message when we come to understand that there's one power in the universe and that we're all some part of it. It's important for us to remember that. The talk tonight is called Dancing with the Universe, and it really is about our connection with the divine, our connection with this infinite creative intelligence. So when I think about dancing with the universe, I think about dancing as something that I enjoy, but it's fluid and comfortable. It's a confident motion that feels the energy of the music and responds to it physically. And so when I think of dancing with the universe, I'm thinking about how we acknowledge and recognize the presence of the divine and surrender into that, and to live fully in harmony with the divine intelligence of the universe. So dancing with the universe is being at one with the all, in the all. So this weekend, I was reading a book called Return to the One, Plotinus's Guide to God Realization. And it's a modern exposition of an ancient classic, and it's written by Brian Hines. And he wrote, the end point of the journey of the soul is not, however, to be entirely absorbed into the one, like an ice cube thrown into a warm ocean. Rather, it is to be united as closely as two entities can be while still remaining distinct. He also wrote, the one is all things and not a single one of them. It is because there is nothing in it that all things come from it. In order that being may exist, the one is not being, but the generator of being. So when I think about that, I think about, so when I say the one, I'm talking about God or spirit, universe, first cause, divine mind, whatever word you feel most comfortable with. And when I think about that oneness, I remember the spiritual epiphany I had at age 27, when there was an absolute awakening that occurred that was so profound that it truly changed my life on a dime. It was like 1 minute I walked into that church and I was in complete darkness. And when I left, somebody had flipped on the lights and I could see for the very first time. And what I could see was that there was this power in the universe, infinite, and it was love. I could feel it right in my bones, that this love was fully present where I am, being me. And it was in that church that, I stayed there for about 1.5 years. And when I couldn't wrap my brain around the idea that only the people of this church would go to heaven, I thought there's got to be something wrong with this. So I left there in searching for something different, something better. And what I found was New Thought. I found the Centers for Spiritual Living. And in finding the centers, what I found was a community that was loving and supportive, kind and generous. What I found was a group of people who believed that what you think about, you bring about. How you focus your attention creates the world that you live in. And so as I'm looking around and seeing the challenges that I was going through at the time, this seemed to answer a lot of the questions. And it was shortly thereafter that I began my studies to become a minister within the Centers for Spiritual Living. The journey itself is an interesting one. I mean, if you think about the last couple of years, life has definitely been challenging in many, many ways over the last few years. So it's something to think about, that when we connect with the divine, when we surrender into that awareness and understanding, we begin to see what's possible for us. We begin to open our minds and hearts so that we can begin to experience in a new way. So life, he goes on in the book to say, life sets before us many challenges. And it's difficult enough for a person to supply their bodily existence, food, shelter, clothing, but to also nurture family, succeed in a profession, gain worldly knowledge, help solve social problems, remain devoted to a marriage partner, and pursue any of the myriad activities to which we are drawn, seems to make us stretched and often stressed as much as can be imagined. But when we are dancing with the universe, when we are in that connection with the divine, when we are living from an awareness of this beloved one, what happens is we begin to surrender the outer world and replace it with an inner experience. This is where we spend more time in meditation and prayer so that we might let go of sort of the worries of the world and instead acknowledge our oneness with this infinite power and potential. And when we do that, of course, life gets easier. Plotinus is not asking us to add one more to do to our ever expanding list of aspirations, like learn to play the piano, lose 15 pounds, fix our golf swing, return to the one. No, the message is much more radical, and it is to look upon everything other than spiritual uplift as a mere pastime, unworthy of being taken seriously. Wow, doesn't that just rock your paradigm? Everything happening out here, unworthy of being taken seriously. That's a big idea. It's a really big idea to begin to look at the world that we're living in and know that the deepest, most important part of everything is what's happening deep inside in our connection with our soul self, with that divine presence when we connect with the one. It's also the way that we find answers to all of the things that are going on in the world around us. So I'm not suggesting that we ignore the world around us, that we pretend it doesn't exist, because it is there. However, the amount of energy we put on it needs to be checked. I mean, think about it for a minute. What happened, a year ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago that you're still thinking about today? What moment did somebody annoy you, upset you, trip you up a little bit, and you're still hanging on to that resentment, that upset to this day? It's time to let it go. When we're dancing with the universe, what we're doing is we're flowing with what is, and we're allowing ourselves to expand, to awaken, and to allow ourselves to look at the world from a new vantage point. We want to see it for what it really is, a reflection of consciousness. When I look in the mirror, I don't, slap the mirror and go, wait a minute, that's a wrinkle. Let me just smooth that out. I don't paint the mirror to change the way my body looks, right? That would be silly. But when we look at the world, that's kind of what we're doing, is we're looking at the world as if it is the all in the all. But what if it's just the tip of the iceberg? What if below the surface, deep within us, there is an expansive consciousness that is so far beyond anything that's already been created? It is a place of imagination, intuition. It is the place of creativity and creation. So when we begin to look at the one as the infinite creator of all, what we soon realize is the things that are happening in the world have already been created. And if I want to create something different, then I have to return to the one and birth a new idea. And that new idea will then reflect out into the world around me. So, whatever's going on, we want to make sure that we are paying attention to the divine within. So where is this wonderful one, or God, or spirit, whatever you want to call it? So Plotinus has got us excited about finding it. And he says that it is beauty most of all, and the best of visions. A person who deserves such praise would be seen on the cover of newsstand magazines. An uncommonly lovely spot of nature would be featured in travel guides, and extraordinarily beautiful works of art would be reproduced in art books or displayed in a gallery. So how then do we see the one? And what Plotinus says is that only by leaving and overlooking earth, sea, sky, all that is out there, as we begin to overlook that and go within and begin to look within, go to that soul level, that is the journey that is going to take us to where it is that we really want to go. The key to making this journey is that the one is both everywhere and nowhere. Ultimate reality is both present in all and separate from all. So it is a bit of a conundrum sometimes to try to understand the concept of this divine intelligence, the one or God or universe. Because how do we come to understand an infinite being from our finite perspective? And it doesn't matter what word we use. I know some people don't like the word God. It's just a word. It cannot begin to describe, but it's what we've tied to that word, right? In the past, we've thought of it, maybe if we were raised in a traditional faith, we might think of it as a guy in the sky passing judgment on us. How I see God or universe or oneness is this eternal presence that is the animating force of all that is. So it is the energy within me. It is the thing that beats my heart and causes my mind to function. It is the energy of life that happens within me and through me, and it can never be separated from me. There's only one thing going on, and we all live, move, and have our being in it. And the Creator has created all of it. So there's something for us to think about. He goes on to say in the book, in order that being may exist, the one is not being, but is the generator of being. Whatever is above life is cause of life. For the activity of life, which is all things, is not first, but itself flows out, so to speak, as if from a spring. For think of a spring which has no other origin, but gives the whole of itself to rivers. And it's not used up by the river, but remains itself at rest. So the one then is the cause of both the material and the spiritual domains of creation, and even of itself. Trace everything in existence back to its ultimate source, and you'll always arrive at the one. I have an interesting article that was written number of years ago, and it was on the cover of Newsweek magazine. Science finds God. So I had to buy it, of course, because it was like, say what? The idea that scientists who had performed remarkable experiments in all different fields were coming back to the idea that the only way they could fully comprehend that which they were discovering in their studies was that there had to be an intelligence back of the universe. There had to be a God or higher power or universal oneness or whatever you want to call it. There had to be something back of in order to explain what it was that they would discover. And that to me was really, really interesting to, consider that possibility. So when I think about this universe and I think about dancing with the universe, it's really about, can I acknowledge who I really am? Can I begin to see myself as created in the image and of the likeness of the Creator, the one? That's what I love about that song. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? You see, we get messages from the time we are small children. We get messages to be quiet. You're too loud, you're too noisy, you're too this, too that, to the other thing. Children are to be seen and not heard. That was from my generation and maybe subsequent ones. This energy, this idea that somehow these messages have been imprinted in our consciousness. And to this day, maybe we believe them. It's time to give that up. It's time to give that up. How could anyone ever think that you were anything less than beautiful, anything less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice how beautiful, perfect, and divine you truly are? That song, for me, has such great meaning And I remember when I first heard it, for first little while, I would cry listening to it, because it's like, whoa. It was like speaking to my heart, going, wow. And what I realized in listening to it a few times is it was time for me to love me enough to no longer listen to the messages I received as a child. See, that's our journey. Our journey back to the one is about letting go of out here, letting go of the messages that we heard, letting go of the struggles that we have gone through, letting go of this journey of sadness and limitation, letting go of this struggle to be what God has created us to be. Why are we struggling to be who we are? It's an interesting question, isn't it? Why are we struggling to be who we are? And I think the struggle has come from our foundation. You know, we were parented in a way that, I mean, I know my parents did the best that they could with what they knew, and I'm sure that's true of your parents as well. But the truth is that the messages we received from parents, teachers, siblings, other relatives, neighbors, the government, whoever, the messages that we have received from society have left an imprint on us that suggests we are somehow less than whole. It's impossible for us to return to the one and to dance with the universe, to be fully present in all there is, if in fact we are living in that fear that somehow what people told me was true, that I'm not good enough or I'm too much. Whatever the message is that we received, it's time for us to let it go. The journey, the spiritual awakening, is not about becoming something different. It is about returning to who I truly am and to who you truly are. It's not about changing us. It's about accepting us. It's about releasing the history, releasing the messages that we received when we were younger, releasing all of that. And even the messages we're still receiving today, frankly. We got to let all that go. And we stand in this moment raw and naked to the universe going, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. And so our prayer and meditation time becomes the most valuable thing, because as we take time in meditation and prayer, what we're doing is reminding ourselves, right? That's our return to the one. When we take the time to go within and explore that inner realm, take time in meditation and prayer, shut out the negativity, shut out the resistance, shut out the, I wish this would have happened, regrets, shutting out the regrets, shutting out the ideas that somehow there's something about me that needs to change or alter or be different. What would happen, I wonder, if we just went, wow, wait a minute, I'm created by the one for some specific reason here on the planet at this point in time. And God is good all the time. So maybe what God created is too. And maybe the one has created me exactly the way I need to be in order to fulfill what it is that I'm here to do in this life journey. That's the journey that we're on. It's about forgetting the past rather than carrying it with us like this big heavy backpack that's breaking our back down. Let it go, drop it. What happened before this moment has no relevance now, because this moment is brand new. You are brand new in this moment. And because you are brand new in this moment has never been before. And because it's never been, what happens in this now moment is happening for the very first time. So what is it that you dream about? What is it that you would like to create? What is it that you imagine for your life and your journey? Time is right here. The time is right now to stand up and say, yes, I'm simply going to be me. I'm going to drop all the masks that I've been wearing. You know, those masks that we put on? It's time to let them go. It's just a way of hiding. But what if there's nothing to hide? What if we've been created divine and perfect? What if the messages we got in our youth or beyond, what if those messages were false? Something to think about, isn't it? Brian Hines writes that he once saw a television moderator on a public affairs program ask a minister, "How can you be sure that God exists?" The minister replied, "Because I see him reflected in the face of a newborn baby." Now, as Hines goes on to say, this was a sincere answer and certainly has an intuitive appeal. But it causes us to ask, why didn't the minister see God in a poisonous snake, a nuclear power plant, or an axe murderer? If God is omnipresent, why does this power seem to appear in some places and not in others? And why is it that he sees divinity in a baby's face while others just see a plain baby? It's an interesting question, isn't it? As we look at our world today and we look at what's happening in Ukraine, for example, what's happening in the Middle East, what's happening right here with our Indigenous peoples, what's happening in our families, in our own health system, what's happening in the world around us. There's so many places where we can question and go, hey, I don't see God here. But it's because we have an idea of what we think God is. But if we let go of all of our ideas of what God is or isn't, and instead relax into the idea that there is one presence in the universe, there is one creative intelligence, one. It is everywhere present, all-knowing, all-powerful, which means it's right here being me and it's right there being you. It is the computer that we're on or the telephone that we're on and the lights that light the room. It is the clothing that we wear, the words that we speak. All and the all is God. There's nothing but that. So when I see evil in the world, that is a misuse of this incredible power, but it's still this same power. It's just like electricity. Electricity will run my laptop, keep the lights on, but it also will electrocute me if I stick my finger in a socket. It just flows wherever life directs it. And so it is with us, that we are directing the flow of the divine moment by moment and day by day. So are we dancing with the universe, or are we in resistance and frustration with it? Are we living from a place of excitement and delight and joy, or are we challenged by the very moments that show up different than what we had hoped for? What if we changed our mind? What if we decided that God is everywhere present equally? And that the way that it operates is through my consciousness, that I am a conduit. I am one with the divine, and what I think, say, and do flows out through that divine. It's me moving the energy into the world around me, into manifestation. It's just like the science of mind symbol, you know, that V that goes down through the levels of consciousness. It is the infinite spirit coming into the manifest world through the power of thought, through the power of our mind. So if thinking moves energy forward, if thinking is the way that things occur, what is it that I'm thinking about? What is it that I'm focusing on? Where is my attention? So Plotinus wrote, how then does multiplicity come from one? And that's because it is everywhere, for there is nowhere where it is not. Right? It's everywhere. This is I know this is a bit of a conundrum for us because as we try to wrap our mind around the infinite, we get stuck in the finite things that we call reality. And it is that stuckness that prevents us from healing. It's that stuckness that prevents us from expanding. It's that stuckness that prevents us from truly loving and being what we were created to be. So it's up to each one of us to make a decision, that, you know what, I'm here for the long haul. I'm here to live, to laugh, to play, to sing, to dance, to celebrate and rejoice. The only way I can do that is in the now moment. When I'm thinking about the past, I'm powerless because the past doesn't exist. And if I'm projecting into the future again, I'm powerless because it does not exist. But what I think in this moment will move me toward my greatest desire. So what am I thinking about? Am I thinking I'm not enough? I'm broken. I'm flawed. I'm a sinner. I'm bad. I'm wrong. What is it I'm thinking about myself? And if I'm thinking negatively about myself, well, I get to have negative experiences. The law is exact. What I put out into the universe with my thinking, with my actions, comes back to me multiplied. So this dance that we're doing can be productive or destructive. It can be positive or negative. It can be beautiful and life affirming, or it can be negative and absolutely denying of all good. Where am I today? And where are you today? What is it that you would love to create in the world? What is it that would excite and delight you moving forward? What is the one thing that you truly desire more than anything else, that you are willing to give your soul's blood for? What is that thing? And when you find it, don't let it go. Allow yourself to just be with the process and be with the journey and be with the joy and the love, because whatever is going on in your mind today is going to create something in your world tomorrow. What is it that you're thinking about? What is it that you believe to be true? Because you get to be right. You get to be right. Not some of the time, but all of the time. This journey that we're on is so, so important when we come to recognize that God is present to everyone, that everything in this world comes from this one divine presence, that the world participates in God and is the creative force of it, that everything, any amount of separation we think we can see is just separation from our belief in or our acceptance of this divine principle. So this, as souls, we're free to travel as far as we like. We were given free will. Oops. I know sometimes I think if I didn't have free will, I could do better, but I have free will. So as far as Plotinus says, as far as souls, we are free to travel as far as we like, as far as possible from the center of existence, the one. So when we've grown weary of our journey and long to return to our source, the way back is the way in. So the center of us is the same as the center of the cosmos. So this idea that God is right here, God is or this one, this universe, it is a spiritual guide. You know that intuitive little voice you hear sometimes that just goes, hey, do this, go here, go there. That's the divine speaking to us. There's messages that we are receiving continually, whether it's a little bit of intuition, whether it's a spark of inspiration, a moment of just acknowledging something brighter than we have before. This journey that we're on is truly a gift and a blessing. And what we're learning how to do is to accept that there is only one. So Plotinus, his life and his teachings speak to the desirability of a spiritual guide. For even though the soul of every person is virtually identical with the absolute, each drop having the same essence as the ocean, we need help in learning how to cleanse ourselves of the impurities that prevent us from realizing our pristine spiritual nature. And that's the role of the spiritual guide, is to literally the one who leads, who shows the way. It is the function of proof by living example that the authority of the spiritual guide has to fulfill. So this journey that we're on, when we listen to that still small voice, when we take time in meditation and in prayer, when we listen for that inspiration, when we let go, right now in many faiths is time of Lent, it's that time of releasing, letting go. And what are we letting go of? Well, in New Thought, we're letting go of negativity. We're letting go of judgment, criticism. We're letting go of resentment and hatred. We're letting go of all of the things that have tied us and bound us to dysfunction and discord. We're letting that go. And in its place, we're returning to the one, this idea that there is only love. That love is the life force, that love is the guiding light, the energy, the essence of all that is, that there truly is only this one divine idea, this one divine presence. So as we come to let go of our fear, our doubt, our worry, our criticism, our judgment, our gossiping, all that stuff, as we let all that go, because really it takes a lot of energy, drains us of potential. When we let all that go, we can then surrender into this divine presence, this infinite one, and we can begin to live in a way that absolutely enlivens us to be the very, very best that we can be. Plotinus urges us to leave behind material and mental forms, including his own, of course, and return to the formless one. His urging is necessarily by means of thoughts and concepts, but these symbols are a bridge to the other side of form, a means instead of an end. So it's really important that we begin to contemplate the idea of our oneness with the divine, that as we participate in this dance, that we remember our own perfection, when we realize that the messages we've been given as children or as adults, all of it is false. None of it has any strength. None of it is real. What is real is the one, this one infinite creative intelligence. It is love, it is light. It is omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. And when I know that the power of God is fully present right here within me. And all I need to do is recognize that, live from that, and allow myself to be part of it. There is a journey that we're on without a destination. And it's really about being aware, moment by moment, that the one is fully present right here, right now. And all is well. God bless you and thank you. Well, it is that time where we give back of our good, where we share a little bit of our own potential, whether it's our tithes, our talents, our treasure. Let us say together our offering affirmation. Together, please. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, to prosper. It is evidence of my conviction. It does its good and perfect work and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And I want you to imagine that we're passing this imaginary basket around the group today. And that as you place your gifts in the basket, that you do it with a loving heart, knowing that this too is a gift of God and a divine blessing to all. So many ways that you can give. You can give by e-transfer to revb@cslonthelake.com. You can go to our website. It says there's a give link, and you can click that and give through Tithely. And on Tithely, you can give a regular donation. So if you want to be part of the Count Me In campaign, you can say, okay, well, I'm going to donate $100 a month. So you just go in and say, here's my information. I'm going to donate $100 a month. And every month at the same time, it will withdraw that amount of money and send it in. And of course, if you want to make donations other than that, you can do that as well by sending it through e-transfer, or again, just going on to the website. You can also send in checks. You can do that. You can send to the Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, 38 Kootenay Crescent, Toronto, M1J 1R7. And all donations are tax deductible. And I just wanted to explain the Founders Club a little bit. The Founders Club, the way the process is going to work is every amount of money that you give from the beginning up to June 30th, all of that will be added together to create the level of your founders' participation. So, if you gave $100 a month, well, that would be about $600, right? So that would be your level of giving on the Founders Club. So keep in mind that that's still going on, and we're truly, truly grateful for all that you give and all that you do. So let us bless this offering, and let us bless each other as we close in prayer. As I quiet my mind and open my heart, I accept and know that there is but one. This infinite potential is fully present as money, as the journey of CSL, as each one of us gathered here. It's the all in the all. And as I recognize that and allow that and trust that, I know that something beautiful is happening in my world, in my life, and in my experience. And I'm grateful for all of it. I'm grateful for a journey that is fulfilling and satisfying, and I'm grateful for the possibility that lies ahead. So filled with love and light, peace and joy, I know that today is truly a gift and a blessing, and I receive the richness of that right here, right now. All is well, and so it is. And now our closing song is If I Were Brave by Janice Stanfield.
What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed, would the wind always fill up my sails? How far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? You know there If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge where true believers dare to tread and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, would the voice of courage whisper in my ear? Maybe this is what I'd hear. I am brave enough to move ahead where true believers dare to tread, never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step will I take today? I am brave. What will I do 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 today? I am
What would I do today if I were brave? Oh my goodness. I'm sure all of us could think about something that that we would do if we were brave. Now, can you unmute, or does Deja need to do something? Dun-dun-dun. Ah, there we go. Richard is unmuted. There we go.
Ta-da!